Good morning, gang. David Gupple, Thinker Farmer here. In this video, I just want to briefly go over some mechanics with our four-wheeler setup. I'm sure people wonder how we set up all of our polywire. Some of the tools, some of the just systems that we have in place to get things done. So in this video, I'm going to briefly cover what we're doing here at Kinloch Farms. This is the four-wheeler at the Archwood Farms, and we have one at the Archwood Farms and one at the main farm. So I'll go over kind of every aspect of the four-wheeler and just briefly identify some highlights. So we like the Gallagher geared 3-in-1 reels. They've got the nice protective handle here that protects your hand when you're wrapping to fences. There are other great reels on the market. Another thing we really like about these reels is they have a locking feature. And on the back of our basket, we have 3 chain links welded to the basket. And so we just hang our reels there, lock them in, they can't go anywhere. And we've used the some older polywire. We're starting to buy the 9-strand poly braid that Greg Judy recommends, the mixed metal. We like that too. If you already have a decent polywire, there's no need to go out and buy something new. Use what you have, unless there's a huge cost savings in labor or otherwise to change. Our basket, we had our shop guy weld these up. We like to use the O'Brien step-ins, and they really the step-ins are just incredible for visibility, and I usually stack those to the front of my basket. I like to use those for my line posts. The pigtails I like for the corners. These are the Gallagher pigtails. There's a lot of other pigtails on the market. Powerflex makes a really good pigtail. Personally, I prefer the Powerflex, but we already have a bunch of these Gallagher pigtails, and so you always make do with what you have. So the pigtails are really, really great for corners. I've shown in another video how we wrap our polywire when we're bisecting a field. The O'Briens, the thing I love about the O'Briens is you can be 300 yards away from an O'Brien step-in, and you can often identify it in a field. You can be 100, 150 yards from a pigtail, half or a third the distance, and you can't see them. And cattle are the same way, so I really like to have some step-ins for visibility in really tall grass. On the back of our four-wheeler, since we've got hundreds, well, really over 1,000 acres of ground to cover, we keep a few tools in our back four-wheeler rack. Inside here, I got some fence staples. I keep a notepad in case I need to sketch anything or calculate anything while I'm in the field or explain something to a fellow team member. I keep just a simple pliers, a Phillips and a flathead screwdriver, jumper, essentially a jumper cable line in case I need it for a special scenario. And then basically an assortment of different insulators that's tailor-made. We have a lot of different fencing, setups. And so it just pays to have the insulator when you need it, not 30 minutes away in the shop. You need it right then and there. And so I keep an assortment in the back of the four-wheeler, just 1 or 2 of each, and whatever I take, I replace. And then just some basic hose repair kit stuff. Always need hose washers. People are always losing hose washers. I'll lose the hose washers, so it's something good to have. Anyway, so you can see up in there, Teflon tape. Use that from time to time installing things. So, really, it's a lot of stuff to keep in a small four-wheeler basket in the back. It's not, I don't know that there's any ideal scenario, but I'll tell you what, gang, if you've ever been in the field and you've got another project you need to get to and something breaks, having those 10 or 15 common items, you shouldn't be too much more than that, because if it's more than that, your system's too complicated. But having those 10 or 15 items that can save you a half hour or an hour of time is just incredible. On the side of the four-wheeler, we always keep our Gallagher tester in here. I also keep spare fence chains with my four-wheeler because people will lose them. I'll lose them too. And then what else to share on the four-wheeler? We have our pretty simple and basic, but similar to the Greg Judy style. Other people use it. We just have a simple rod that we can adjust. We can adjust this rod out essentially 2-3 foot from the four-wheeler if we want, or we can put it up really close, however we want to hang our reel. And I mean, potentially if you really wanted to get fancy, you could probably weld yourself another hook there if you were doing 2 strands of wire, and then just run multiple strands out at the same time. Or you could run them off the back. There's multiple different ways. We only use 1 strand of polywire for all of our cattle. We never run 2 strands. That's more pain and more work than we need to do. In the front of the basket, usually I leave myself a bag of salt, a few extra reel handles, a chain for pulling my mineral feeder, a hammer for driving staples and other things. And then I keep some Blue O'Brien step-ins because for all of my pigtail corners, our regular yellow step-ins, they're 10 to 15 years old. They're brittle, and the clips on them are breaking now. So by buying just 1 box of 50 and getting them blue, it's color-coded. Nobody can mix the two up. These are designated for my 45 floating braces for my pigtails, and that just makes it really simple. And of course, I keep underneath everything, I keep a loppers in there for multiflora rows or anything else I need to clip in the field. A couple extra chains, gate chains and whatnot. And that's pretty much it, gang. It's it may surprise some people. It's a pretty simple rig. On the front, of course, we've got the stingers that will drop the polywire or high tensile fence. And main thing I'll say about them, they don't need to be quite as fancy as this. Let me see if I can get a good angle, but you really need, you need the angle to be almost 45 degrees. You cannot have it at the stinger at a 60-degree angle. It won't drop the fence. It'll just push into it. So you've got to have it, whatever that is, 50-degree angle. 45 degrees is probably is great too. The sharper the angle and the higher up it is, the more likely you're going to catch that polywire and lay it down nicely. And yeah, these four-wheelers, they're not cheap, but man, they sure, when you're running hundreds or thousands of acres, you really need a four-wheeler to cover the ground. I mean, you can do this work by hand and walk, but the cost of running a large-scale farm is just in being there, being on location and on site, and getting from point A to point B. So I really, I think a four-wheeler investment or some sort of vehicle, I mean, UTVs are even more expensive. It's just a really smart move to make within the first few years of farming. Maybe initially you can hold out on it. Anyway, wanted to go over a few mechanics. Hopefully that gives some people some good ideas of how we set things up. And with that, blessings for the journey, gang, and keep it real.